Good morning, captains. It's me, Tonic TZW. I say good morning. It is, of course, morning where I am. It could be any other time of the day where you are in the world. This is what I thought was one of the better games of the night. It still wasn't easy to play, but we did a live stream last night on the Monday doing our weekly premiums, and somebody said Cyclone for the ship to play for tier 4. And I went and had a look, and I'd actually only ever played one game in the Cyclone. I haven't played a lot of French destroyers since they nerfed the French commander. Their strength was the engine boost and the concealment bonus they got with that engine boost, but Wargaming manipulated that quite some time ago. Thankfully, it was just after I'd finished grinding the entire French destroyer line. So I didn't really have much interest in playing French destroyers, but this one was a little bit different. Now we're here, it is domination. There are 2 destroyers in each team, and where there's 2 caps, you'd think that 2 destroyers would split across 2 caps, and as I'm on the right side of the screen, I'm obviously going to go for B cap, but the other destroyer, that is Akazi, decides that he wants to come to B cap too. And I was thinking about breaking left and heading for A cap, but I'm kind of already committed now, aren't I? I've got my morning coffee here with me because I'm trying to get this video done before I have to start work. I've got a very busy week ahead of me with engagements both in and out of the office. But my first engagement here in this game is getting on to B cap, and red team are already in it, so we're going to push. We've got very good concealment on this one, and I'm thinking I might actually have to play it some more. The great thing is that when you play in low tier, you often get new players. It's also one of the reasons why playing low tiers can be a huge struggle, because people just throw their ships away. Now, I did notice something in watching this video back as to where our ships died, or to where the majority of ships died in this game. We lose one of our cruisers literally off the bat right before our torpedo hits that destroyer, so we narrowly miss out on a first blood, but we do get a dev strike. And red team, look, are coming heavy. Everybody is coming heavy to this side of the map. I want the cap, but I'm going to get a little too close to the sun, like Icarus, one of my favourite British destroyers, but we're going to try and do some damage to these guys as well while spotting. I do want to get across to A cap, but not quite yet. We're going to smoke up, we're going to go guns, and these guys are then going to come charging in, which is not what I wanted. I wanted them to continue sailing broadside so I could try out my armor piercing. There's a Kirov there, he's rather nasty. I know he's got sonar, he's got rather short range torpedoes, but we're going to put one rack out there, and as it was getting a little bit too hot in here, I was thinking maybe I need to get out of here, but let's try and get a couple more salvos onto this guy. We've got heals on the Cyclone. I know a lot of the French destroyers have a reload booster. Those torpedoes are looking rather sweet, and that is kill number 2 of the game. We're going back onto guns for the Kirov, but looking around us, here we go. It is the Galicia, one of the new Spanish cruisers, and I was like, oh dear, it's time to get the hell out of Dodge, because we've lost 2 ships already as well. And then I didn't remember whether or not these guys had sonar, but he was going to refresh my memory for me as our Britannia, or their Britannia, dev strikes one of our cruisers. There is the sonar. It's time for me to run, and I'm looking around me and I can see I've got 2 battleships behind me, and I'm thinking surely that guy must be a dev strike for you guys, because he's sailing broadside through the middle of a capture point. We lose our other destroyer, and I'm like, okay, we've potentially crapped the bed now, because if I die, this is game over. We are 4 ships down. We are barely a couple of minutes into the game here, Red team have only lost 2, and I'm just trying to use my speed and open up the distance. I get very lucky there, but we lose the Omaha, and okay, we are 5 ships down to 3 ships down. We aren't even 4.5 minutes into the game, so we're losing more than a ship a minute. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious me, what kind of potatoes have we got in this game? So I've managed to get away from the fight. They've taken care of that cruiser, and I am now motoring across for Teacup. But I see the Britannia there. He's just disappeared. He's on square D4, and I'm thinking, can I cut through, cut that guy off, and get him out of this game? I'm only on 11,000 damage. I didn't say this was be a big damage game, but it was one of those games where I really had to think on my feet, and I am going to take a nasty hit a little bit later from Red Team's carrier. And could I have played some bits of this game better? Yeah, watching it back, I could have made a few better decisions, but all in all, the gameplay is going to give the team the win. Kirov is spotted there. We've got 2 battleships, both sailing the same way around an island. They look to be broadside to this Britannia. Our carrier is having a crack at him, and then I realised that, oh my goodness, there is another destroyer in the game, and I think it's a Clemson. He's down there on our Charlie Cap. He has run all the way down through the side of the map, so he's played an absolute blinder pushing down there, but then he's going to mash his own potatoes and he's going to sail off the cap chasing our carrier. Not a Clemson, a Wakeful British tier 3 tech tree destroyer. Excuse my sniffles, it's that time of year again when the cold starts coming. So I put my torpedoes out at that Britannia, and I was calling, do I go for the BB? No, we didn't dev strike him. We got a couple of torps on him. There's the Hermes, and this is one of the places where I think I could have put 1 set on the Hermes, and I could have put 1 set on the Britannia. But we'll get back to that Hermes later, shall we? Because right now we need to push the cap, because Red Team have got the Kirov, I think it is, on the cap. We've lost pretty much all of our team. It's now 3 ships plays 4. And where we lost so much of the team so early in the game, this one is going to go full length. And I didn't notice at the time, but my damage is ticking up, and that means that Britannia has got a flood that he couldn't repair, although it's just stopped now. And this, as I've said many times before, is the most painful part of any game as a destroyer, especially when there's an aircraft carrier in the match, because I've got to take myself completely out of this game for an entire minute to take a capture point. Our battleship across there is getting into a bit of a scrap with a Kirov, and I'll try and point it out in just a second. But if you look at the mini-map where those guys are, so look in the top left hand corner of the screen, look at the mini-map, look where those 2 guys are, because they are going to kill each other. Close quarters export, then the Cavor is going out to torpedoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see at least 10 shadows there of ships that have been killed. And they're all within, what's that? Pretty much 3-4 grid squares. Everybody went to the same side of the map. Everybody went to the same places, and everybody died. I'm sure that Wargaming potentially collected these statistics at where ships move to, and where, like, how they move, where they position, and where they eventually die, because that is an absolute hotspot of death over there. And if anything, if I get this map again down at low tier when I'm doing my premiums, because I don't do my tech tree because that's pretty much complete, that's a spot that I'll avoid, because it seems to me that it gets very much focused. So that's another thing that you can use as part of your knowledge building exercise. As I'm looking at the island and the carrier gets a drop on me, I did say he was going to get a hit. I am going to pop a heal, but this Britannia is going to get me spotted. There we go. So we are spotted. We may as well see if we can get some shots on him, get a fire on him. But we're running the smoke, we're getting a heal. He's turned, he's trying to get his rear turrets on. I'm going to try and go dark before that happens, and I'm going to get very lucky here because it's quite a rare medal, that one, the Liquidator. I think generally if you're getting a Liquidator, you're going to get the Overflow achievement, which is the one that many people are missing to get Platinum for the game. Because I think Overflow is at least 30% of flooding damage, but I think Overflow needs 40. And just looking at where the planes are going, because now is decision time, there is a ridiculous amount of time left on the game, but our carrier very thankfully takes care of that Wakeful. Now I think I would have been able to take care of the Wakeful in a gunfight, but certainly not if I was being harassed by the carrier at the same time. I'm thinking at this moment in time, what do I need to do to win? And this is something that you guys should be doing, not necessarily just the new guys to the game, but even all you sweaty, salty old captains in there. I know a lot of us go for guts or glory and just try to get everything out of the game that we can. But take the win for the team, understand how you can win, because in this game we can win on points because they only have one ship left. We control 2 capture points, which is giving us 6 points every 5 seconds for the 2 cap. They are gaining 3 points every 5 seconds for the 1 cap, but we still have a 3-point advantage every 5 seconds, which is 36 points per minute. There are 3 minutes left on the game, so that's around 100 points difference. So we could potentially get close to winning on points by the end of the game, even if we lose our carrier, because that will shift the balance by around 100 points. So they aren't going to pull this one back unless they kill both of us. This is survival mode now. It is sensible survival mode. There's absolutely no reason for me to be going towards this aircraft carrier, is there? No, but the reason I was going to head back for our aircraft carrier is because there is a beautiful AA bubble around him, but then I realised that he's practically dead, and by the time I get there I'm probably going to have to be picking up survivors from the water, because that Hermes is going to absolutely spank him within the next 2 runs. He's also pushing in close, which means that his secondaries are going to be running too. Sorry, I had to do a big sniff there and mute my mic for a moment. So yeah, their carrier is pretty much full health, and this is why, had I dropped a set of torpedoes on him earlier, it might have made it easier for our own carrier. But decisions are made at the time, and we can't go back on them. We have to deal with what is in front of us. And I'm thinking, okay, I've got 7Ks on my torpedoes. My AA is off to make it harder for this guy to find me. We know that he can pretty much chunk us with a bomb drop if he gets it on. And I'm watching our carrier sail in to his impending doom. And the clock is still running. And I'm like, yeah, this guy's going to die, isn't he? Now I need to run, because as the last ship in the game, if he kills me, and that's a possibility, then we lost. And I don't want to lose this game. And we always ask the question, you know, do some of the people who played this game deserve to have a win? Well, frankly, the answer is no, because if you again look at B-cap there with all those dead ships inside it and where those dead ships are positioned, there's a good chance that a vast majority of these guys don't need a win, but what they do need is hope. They need hope that somebody understands how to take a win from the game, and that is to close just within torpedo range, and then we are going to turn and run down the clock. Now, another thing I've seen destroyers do is try to run in and YOLO a ship and get their torpedoes off when there obviously isn't sufficient time for their torpedoes to reach the target before the clock runs down. And that's when we've had a points advantage and a guaranteed win, and they've tried to get greedy and go for another kill. But this one is going to end just the way I like it, with a victory for blue team and kill number 4. Kraken potential there, but we had to play safe and get out of dodge. But we do pick up a high caliber, a dev strike, and the liquidator medal. We finished top of the board, 2200 base XP with 4 kills. Believe it or not, but the damage and XP record there, and the number of kills, are my best performance on the Cyclone so far, but that is only the second game ever I've played in the Cyclone, and I think that one comes from like Halloween over a year ago, so I might have to play that a little bit more. I hope we've enjoyed this one. It was a stream highlight. There's some good games, some bad games, and some absolutely awful games on that one, so smash the like button, leave me a comment, and as always, until next time, take care of yourselves and goodbye.